It was absolutely shambolic from start to finish.
It was just a catastrophe. A hugely bumbling, idiotic disaster.
What on earth could be that bad? Oh, hello. We're talking Sam and Mick at the 1989 Brits. A cock-up of colossal proportions.
She's out of control already, I can tell. I've got to control this woman. I've got to control her over here.
Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it, Mick?
I was sitting in the audience and we were waiting for it all to start, and then out came Mick Fleetwood and Sam Fox, and immediately you thought, who decided on that?
I sat through the whole thing because Brother Beyond were nominated in the Best New Band category. So we were sitting through this torture for almost 2 hours.
So there you have it. So who's it going to be, Sam?
I don't know, because I can't see.
You don't give the biggest gig in the music business calendar to novices.
But it didn't just start badly. It was one catastrophic clanger after another.
4 guys who last year went loco in Acapulco. In there!
Tonight, they're totally compos mentis, whatever that means, I don't know, here in London. The fabulous, the legendary, the sensational, the Four Tops.
You just watch there thinking, no, how can it go this wrong? And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And they were clueless. He was even more clueless than she was.
Sitting around me with all the other nominees that year, you know, and everybody was just going like this, had their head in their hands. I mean, everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Are you quite finished? Shall I carry on?
But some folk were lapping it up.
I really enjoyed it because I was never that close with Sam. And I'm fine with it now, but at the time we were a bit arch rivals. So I was quite secretly happy when it all went wrong. Is that bad of me?
Do you want me to tell you who's won, then?
Yeah.
I think so. Are you not going to have a look at the possibilities first? Other possibilities? Yeah.
And the fallout from that embarrassing evening is still with us today.
The mere fact that we're talking about it over a quarter of a century later shows you how humiliating it was, and still is for them.
Well, the thing is, it went so badly on the night that they decided to pre-record it then for the next 18 years. So that's how much of an effect it had.
We've had a great time, and I hope you have. See you, we love you.
Ooh, it's Sean Penn. Look how cool he is. He smokes fags during press conferences. No wonder everyone likes him so much.
Sean Penn could go for you, drunk, sober, in between, really didn't bother him. So an aggressive bloke and loathes the press. A pretty toxic mix.
The Sean Penn that we saw in the tabloids in the 80s is what makes him a great actor. That deep tension that seems to be brewing inside of him all the time.
Poor old Sean, he just had this trouble living in the spotlight.
And Sean found himself in the spotlight a lot more in 1985 when he started going out with a lovely blonde pop star. That girl's Madonna, silly. Remember her?
That takes your press coverage into another stratosphere. And he found that very, very difficult, and got himself into a lot of trouble.
On June 30th, 1985, Penn took umbrage at a couple of paparazzi.
The incident happened because Madonna was out having a jog, because we always know the material girl has to stay fit. They came across Sean Penn, who says he's going to throw rocks, he's going to try and beat these journalists and photographers to death. Look, you should all be protective of your spouses, but beating a journalist to death with a rock might be pushing it a bit far.
Later in 1985, Madge and Sean got married in the wedding of the century. Were you invited? No, us neither. Nor were the press. But they turned up en masse anyway.
The service was supposedly so secret The 300 or so guests weren't even told the location of the ceremony until shortly before it began.
They did it on literally a cliffside house, on the cliff top, so no one could get pictures of it. That was the idea, but everyone in America hired a helicopter.
There was a sort of squadron of helicopters hovering around taking pictures. Sean had been down on the beach and written "fuck off" in the sand.
This is the most romantic day of your life. Madonna, yeah. Have you got the ring, love? Yeah. Hang on, I'm just gonna write "fuck off" in the sand. Will you give us a minute?
As if that's going to stop anyone running the pictures. In fact, it just made the pictures all the more alluring, all the more compelling.
Cynics say her wedding was just another publicity stunt. If it was, it succeeded.
I don't think it's too much to say that the element of living in the spotlight, if you were with Madonna, is what made that marriage founder and made it very difficult for Sean. It must have been a big factor in why it all went wrong. I don't think he could take it anymore.
The Poison Pen's marriage didn't last and cost Sean a ton of money in court cases. Plus, it left him with a reputation no amount of awards and charity work seemed to be able to shift.
Sean Penn can do whatever he likes to position himself as a campaigner, a director, an auteur, humanitarian. He's a thug who wants to smash a bloke's head in with a rock. That's Sean Penn.
It's hard to believe that uber superstar Kylie Minogue started her professional life as the scrappy little tomboy Charlene Mitchell in everyone's favourite tea time soap, Neighbours.
Well, I knew of Kylie Minogue, obviously, through Neighbours. And everybody was just addicted to Neighbours, weren't they? Come in from school, that's the first thing you did, we put it on.
Kylie in the 80s, I am at school. I've just had a perm to try and look like hers because I've grown up watching Kylie in Neighbours.
She was a great little actress, and yeah, she was just one of the gang. She sort of mucked in with us all and had a great time.
Who doesn't love Kylie? She stole our hearts right from her first appearance back in 1986.
Oh.
Charlene!
I mean, she was a bit of a larrikin. The very first scene she came in, she punched Jason Donovan's character because he thought she was a burglar breaking into the house.
She was a little bit ditzy, she was a little bit of a tomboy, but a tomboy with amazing hair.
But little did we know that that tousle-haired tomboy was about to blossom into one of the planet's best-selling pop princesses, thanks to a certain song.
I Should Be So Lucky is like the classic earworm, isn't it? You hear it once and you can't stop singing it.
I didn't realise it was Kylie at first, but I just thought it had one of the catchiest choruses I'd ever heard.
We as the cast didn't actually think anything, oh wow, what a great song, oh wow, you're going to do this. It was just, oh, good on you, Carl, you another one under your belt, good stuff.
But there's a shocking secret behind the song that sent Kylie Minogue stratospheric.
So Kylie is a huge star in Australia. Peter Waterman asked her to come and do a single. Pete wasn't there and had forgotten all about telling the rest of the band that she was coming. So Mike sees her in the reception and thinks, who's this girl? Not realising that she's very famous in Australia. So literally he's under pressure to write a really good song for this very beautiful girl very, very quickly. And it took him 40 minutes, apparently.
Yeah, 40 minutes later, a global hit was born.
I didn't know that.
I know Mike Stock quite well, and this has just reminded me that I really must ask him why it took that long.
If our songs lack depth, it's probably because we don't really get involved in political statements or change the world statements. We write pop songs for enjoyment, and that's a noble cause.
That's right. 40 blinking minutes to write a song that spent 5 weeks at the top of the UK charts and sold well over 500,000 copies. Beat that.
Although everyone was extremely excited and impressed that PWL could produce I Should Be So Lucky in 40 minutes, I do have to tell you that Toy Boy was created in 20. Kylie got more love than me.
Stay with us on our celebrity countdown as we find out what 1980s wild man Ollie Reed got up